When we think of Renoir, it is more than likely that paintings of pretty young women and children will come to mind, not landscapes, such as this harvest scene that he exhibited at the first Impressionist exhibition. Renoir's chief ambition was to make his mark at the Paris Salon with large figure paintings like this. Throughout his career, the works he showed and sold were almost exclusively figure paintings. Female nudes, scenes of people socializing at the theatre or other public places, or simply enjoying themselves in the open air, and later in life, society portraits and decorative pieces like this pair of dancers. "I am a figure painter," he declared, and it was a view shared by his friends and critics. Yet nature was a vital source of inspiration for Renoir, and throughout his life he painted landscapes, usually out of doors, directly in front of the motif. He claimed that this was the only way to learn one's craft. It also seems to have had a liberating effect. Freed from the demands of patrons or the pressure of winning official approval, he could allow his painterly instincts free rein. It is in the landscapes that he painted for his own satisfaction that Renoir is at his most daring and experimental. Landscape painting was an interest in expeditions in the forest of Fontainebleau, then a mecca for landscape painters. When the Barbizon painter Diaz met Renoir painting in the forest, he urged him to be more adventurous in his use of colour. Renoir took his advice to heart. In this painting of Jules Lecoeur hunting, the greens and greys are offset by lively orange tones. He has also adopted a freer handling, very like that used by Diaz himself in his woodland scenes. And we can detect for the first time that lifelong interest in capturing the effects of sunlight filtering through trees. Of more importance to Renoir, though, was what he learned from his fellow students, and especially from Claude Monet. In 1869, Renoir and Monet set up easels side by side at the popular bathing spot of La Grenouillère on the Seine west of Paris, and there attempted to capture the bustling activity of holidaymakers enjoying themselves by the river. They set themselves a formidable task: to capture the fugitive effects of sunlight and water, as well as the constantly moving people as they came and went. You can see how they had to make changes to their canvases in response to the changing scene before them. Look how the shapes of boats have been painted out and new ones painted in. Were these conscious compositional decisions, or just part of the effort to register the flux and movement that confronted them? The two painters chose to work side by side on very similar views. Here they show a view with the riverbank and bathers. A gangplank leads off towards the right. It reappears in another pair of paintings showing the small circular island known as the Camembert and the restaurant boat. Yet however close Monet and Renoir come, there are differences in the way they paint. Monet has an instinctive grasp of structure. His handling is bold and forthright, and his treatment of the figures cursory. In contrast, Renoir is seduced by the fashionably dressed crowd and depicts each of them with affection and care. He adopts a silvery blue palette, which lends the scene a soft enchantment. His paint is fluid and sensuous in its description of colours and surfaces. Renoir worked with Monet again at Argenteuil in 1873. This was the moment of their closest association, and Renoir has left us this affectionate portrait of Monet painting in his garden as a testament to it. Two very similar pictures of sailing boats on the river also bear witness to their habit of working alongside each other. In broad respects, the compositions are almost identical. Yet the characteristic differences appear in Monet's clear emphasis on compositional elements and the way he uses the reflections in the water to reinforce the structure. In contrast, Renoir's picture appears entirely spontaneous, even a little chaotic. Attracted as ever by the animation of the scene, he packs in more boats in the background and some ducks near the bank, and his reflections dissolve before our eyes, the fluid paint mimicking the silky ripples of the water. Renoir is always attracted by human activity. He is drawn to the spectacle of human life, and above all to scenes of entertainment and pleasure, where men and women in their bright summer clothes idle away their time in the sunshine. It is a romantic and hedonistic view of life, which Renoir shared with much earlier artists of the 18th century. Renoir was drawn to the paintings of his forebears, Watteau, Boucher, and Fragonard. Watteau invented the fête galante, a type of picture which showed men and women elegantly attired in silks and satins, amorously disporting themselves in idyllic parkland settings. Many of Renoir's paintings of the 1870s seem to be modern treatments of the same theme. He shows couples flirting in the bushes, a woman and child relaxing in sun-dappled grass, and a party of pleasure seekers promenading under the giant trees of the Parc Saint-Cloud, a celebrated royal haunt of the 18th century. The railways had brought the riverside suburbs of Chatou, Argenteuil, Gennevilliers and Asnières closer to Paris, and they had become popular summer resorts for sailing, boating and bathing. Writers like Maupassant described how they also offered the opportunity for flirtation and illicit meetings. Here, Renoir captures an amorous encounter among the boathouses at Bougival, while a dog nonchalantly lazes in the sun. Here, two young women take a boat on the river on a hot summer's day. With brushstrokes of thick, creamy paint, Renoir captures the brilliance of sunlight reflecting off the water like molten metal. The brightness is intensified by the vivid contrast of the orange skiff and its reflection with the blue of the water. Renoir wanted to capture in his paintings the sense of men and women living and moving in the open air, bathed in light. His most ambitious attempt to do so was the large painting he made at Le Moulin de la Galette at Montmartre in 1876, showing the Sunday crowd of young men and women dancing and drinking beneath the tree.